Participating in college sports can be one of the most rewarding experiences in an individual's life, but it can also be one of the most mentally and physically exhausting. So, is it worth it? I started thinking about this question during an academic writing class, struggling to keep my eyes open, my body still aching from the morning lift. I remember sitting there wondering, why the hell am I doing this to myself? Is the grind even worth it? And honestly, I already knew the answer. But the real answer depends on who you are, what you value, and what you're willing to sacrifice. Some people thrive on the grind. They love the feeling of getting up before the sunrise, chasing excellence while everyone else sleeps. It's an awesome feeling. For others, the pressure, the fatigue, the nonstop cycle, it slowly drains the love out of the sport they once lived for. And that's totally okay. Every athlete has their own reasons for stepping onto the field, court, the water, every single day. Maybe it's a scholarship, maybe it's chasing a professional dream, or maybe it's just too late to pick up another sport. Or maybe it's just pure love. But how much time does it really take? Let's break it down. There are 168 hours in a week, and if you're a student athlete, here's where a lot of those hours go. 20 to 30 hours a week go to practices, games, lifts, or team meetings. 20 hours go to classes or labs. 15 hours go to studying assignments or exams, while 56 hours go to sleep, assuming you're even getting 8 hours of sleep each night, which, let's be honest, is pretty rare. That leaves you with just 47 hours a week for eating, commuting, social life, mental health, literally just breathing. That's less than 7 hours a day for everything outside survival and obligations. Time is tight. Life gets squeezed. Compared to the average student or non-athlete, schedules can still be busy, but there's still more wiggle room to free up time in your schedule if you're not playing a sport. Also, the experience can really vary depending on where you are and which division you're playing at. At Division III schools, practices might be shorter, seasons a little less intense, but at D1 schools, it's truly a full-time job. There's no exaggeration about that either. At UC Berkeley, for example, their lightweight crew team practices 10 times a week, double sessions every single day. And they are one of the best teams in the nation. So what does that say about the dedication to being the best? And for D1 football, your day starts at 6 a.m. and ends after 9 p.m. Meetings, lifts, practices, classes, film study, it's endless. At my school, Ithaca College, I row on the men's crew team, and we train just as hard as a lot of D1 programs, 10 sessions a week. And the time commitment is real, the grind is real, but also the mental toughness it builds is also very real. There's a quote that I found really relatable as an athlete by Sydney Montone, a Division I athlete at Drexel University. An athlete's schedule means waking up tired, work out, go to class tired, work out again, even more tired, do homework, exhausted, sleep, repeat. People outside the athlete world sometimes think we have it easy, that we have free gear, scholarships, the special treatment. But what they don't see, the 5 a.m. alarms, the sore muscles, the missed parties, the quiet mental battles that no one claps for. Like Sydney puts it bluntly, some think we're lazy because we fall asleep in class. They're wrong. We're exhausted. There's a difference.
So many athletes today are not getting the required 9.2 hours of sleep that we'd like to see for an adolescent. And consequently, they describe their generation in one word more than any other word. And that word is tired.
While doing research for the making of this video, I kept trying to find a definite answer to the question, is it worth it? Every source I read, every athlete I talked to, they said the same thing. It depends. It depends on what you want, what you're willing to sacrifice, what your why is. Let's get specific. What are the payoffs and what are the trade-offs? Scholarships and financial support. For a lot of students, athletics are the only way they can even afford college. In Division I and II, about 57% of student athletes receive some sort of athletic aid. Healthy habits, sports almost force you to manage your sleep, workouts, and daily schedules better. Physical fitness. Feeling strong, feeling good in your own body, it's a huge win. Time management. You learn to get things done under pressure. Fast, no procrastinating is really allowed when you have so much to do all the time. Leadership and teamwork skills. Leadership skills are something that employers, grad schools, and basically all of the real world value pretty highly. Higher graduation rates. According to the NCAA 2023 report, the graduation success rate for Division I athletes hit 90% compared to 69% for the general student population at D1 schools. And in Division II, the graduation success rate was around 77%, still a strong figure. Though there are many upsides, there are still many challenges, like academic and social sacrifices. Missing classes because you're tired, or missing out on internships because you're busy, or missing times with friends. And don't let me forget, missing all the parties. Mental and physical strain. Burnout, injuries, depression, anxiety, it's all very real and it can happen very easily when you're so busy with sports and practice. You don't have time to take for yourself. It can be hard. Managing relationships. Unless your partner is willing to accept that they will only spend time with you like twice a week, relationships can be hard to manage with such a rigorous schedule and can sometimes throw a wrench into things. Post-sport identity crisis. When the game ends, practices are over, and eligibility runs out, a lot of athletes are left asking, who am I without my sport? But there are some deeper things to think about. Take mental health, for example. The NCAA's 2022 mental health survey found that student athletes report higher rates of mental health concerns than pre-pandemic levels. 48% of female athletes and 46% of male athletes reported feeling mentally exhausted constantly or most every day. Symptoms of anxiety, depression, and burnout are notably higher among student athletes than general students. Physically, while athletes are in peak shape, the rates of serious injuries are significant. NCAA injury surveillance data shows that over 50% of college athletes report at least one injury in a season. Common injuries like ACL tears or concussions, or if you're like me, a herniated disc, often have long-term effects that extend beyond college and can really last your whole life. And then there's life after the final game or race when your eligibility ends. You quit, or maybe get injured. The transition can really be brutal. Going from training with your best friends every day to now having time to waste, it can really be really confusing. I personally feel like the days when I had off practice just I feel like a waste of time. And I even feel guilty about it, like I wasn't utilizing my time right. But in reality, I just needed time to rest. When sports have been your whole identity, losing them can feel like losing a part of yourself. Many, like myself, live for the competition. It's a trait that comes with growing up as an athlete, or in my case, having an Olympian mother who puts a lot of pressure on sports. Being a part of a collegiate sports team can feel like a special society in a way. The matching gear, the pre-race/locker room rituals, the special attention you receive after getting a big win. All you need to succeed is there. All you need to do is just show up and play the sport you love. Some weeks can even feel perfect. You train hard, you perform well at your event at the end of the week, the Saturday night parties with your team, waking up and doing it all again. It can really be any athlete's dream, and it can be addicting. Being a part of something like this can give you purpose and an insatiable appetite to succeed. You feel like you're on top of the world. But anything can change in an instant. Injuries come, hardships come, and disasters come. Learning to roll with the punches can be one of the hardest things to deal with when your livelihood is taken from you. And when it's gone, you can lose hope, and even worse, you can lose yourself. The beautiful part about being an athlete is learning not to give up. Getting knocked down doesn't mean you're down forever. The days of intense training, the late nights spent up working on homework, you just need to keep showing up and getting that work done. It's hard to handle it all mentally, which is the central point to why the question, is it worth it, is so debated. In 2022, Kiki Liu and Lydia Bell studied NCAA data to help answer the question, what are the effects of time utilization and the well-being of college athletes? NCAA Goals data surveying over 5,000 student athletes shows that how much time you spent on sports and school directly impacts your emotional, physical, and mental well-being. The more time in structured activities, often the higher the stress, the lower the sleep, the more complicated your mental health can potentially become. It's not just a time management issue, it's a wellness issue. But after the surveys were analyzed, results revealed that academic time use is a significant positive predictor of subjective well-being. Moreover, athletic time use is also a significant predictor of all well-being. It positively predicted subjective well-being, but negatively predicted emotional and physical well-being. I wanted to hear some real voices from real athletes, so I talked to 5 college athletes and asked them the same question: is it worth it? Originally, it was supposed to be 6, but because we're so busy, the other one couldn't make it.
My name is Ashan Antonis Chandrasena.
My name is Henry Hirschberger, and I row.
What do you play?
I am Nolan Boswell, and I play rowing.
My name is CJ, and I'm on the women's rowing team.
Now, I realize it's a little biased that I only added rowers to this interview, but considering they have one of the most rigorous schedules out of all the teams at Ithaca College, it just made sense. I then proceeded to ask each athlete how much hours they put into their sport each week, roughly.
18 and a half hours a week is dedicated to the sport.
28, something like that. 30-ish hours going into the sport.
Twice every day usually, except on weekends, pretty much.
15, 16 hours usually, if it's not a race weekend, and then if it's a race weekend, probably close to 20, I'd say.
I then proceeded to ask each athlete the question, is it worth the time it consumes?
Do I think it's worth it? Yes, both from a physical and mental standpoint. Physically, it's great in terms of health. In college, a lot of people don't really know what they're supposed to do with a lot of free time that they get in between classes, after classes, because a lot of classes wrap up by the time we have practice. So it's a good use of time. It makes sure all of us are in a good headspace, both mentally and physically. It also just helps in terms of getting us ready for everything that we're going to do after crew and during crew. I think it helps us build a good community as a team, which can be hard for people to do when they start college out for the first time. So having a set group of people that you're going to meet with and hang out with and train with on a daily basis helps a lot of friendships form, which can take the stress out of feeling left out in college. But also it helps you build that resilience of juggling a bunch of different things as you're getting ready to go out. I know a lot of people who didn't do a sport in high school or didn't do a sport in college who graduate and then don't know what to do with all this free time or don't know how to manage having all these different responsibilities. And I think being a varsity athlete where you had a set amount of time dedicated to something makes it easier for you to transition into it, both physically and mentally.
Oh, personally, yes, please. So if I wasn't on any kind of team, or especially something that is physically demanding, I would not know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
I think it's definitely worth it. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's definitely the only thing that's keeping me not just rotting in my bed and doing homework, and those being the only 2 things that I do. So I think it's definitely worth it.
Many athletes that were interviewed said that balancing life is still hard, but all said that it's been worth it for a variety of reasons. Some reasons were the community and the feeling of family on the team, while others said it served as a great distraction from other pressures in their life, while others just said it was a great way to stay fit. So, back to the original question. Is it worth it? For me, yes. But I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's about sacrifice. It's about having a reason that's bigger than the pain and the pressure. Whether that's the love of the game, the family you build with your teammates, or the lessons you learn that carry you out through life. Being a student athlete isn't about just playing a sport. It's about becoming someone who can take a hit and keep going. It's about building a life where, even long after the games are over, you know you're strong enough to handle whatever comes.